It is 12 minutes past 7, and it's time to talk about Alzheimer's. As we mentioned earlier in the show, September is World Alzheimer's Month, and for a third year, the Cayman Islands Alzheimer's and Dementia Association is commemorating this with a number of presentations and events. Here to tell us more this morning, we have Ms. Dorothy Davis. She is actually the founder and chair of the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association, Mr. Carlin Powery, who is a board member of the association here in the Cayman Islands as well. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Well, let's talk about what the association tries to do, because it's really about raising awareness, but also dealing with stigma that comes with dementia and Alzheimer's, really, right?
Yes, that is one of our main goals, that education for caregivers and family members, and support is the most important things right now for our association.
So this is something really personal for you, right,
It
Dorothy?
is, yeah. My mom has Alzheimer's, and that's the reason why the association was started, with me trying to do research and find out what doctors were here in the island to deal with some of her symptoms and so forth. So from there was born the association, or the support group, rather.
There is so much information coming out on a regular basis. I imagine there are new studies all of the time. I imagine it can be incredibly challenging to sift through all of that and try to understand what is best and what you can do if you're caring for someone.
Yes, and like what you said, there are lots of, from all sorts of resources, so we need to be careful where we get our resource from. So we rely solely on the Alzheimer's Disease International to disseminate that information to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the theme this year, which is reducing the risk. What do we know about causes? What can be done to prevent dementia or Alzheimer's?
Well, right now, the Alzheimer's Disease International, the theme is, can we reduce the risk? And they say there may be 5 ways in which we can help reduce the risk.
Okay.
And that will be starting from very early, because symptoms of Alzheimer's could be there for a very, very long time before you're even diagnosed. And one of the things is like doing brain activities, eating a healthy diet, social activities, taking care of your heart, and so forth. And we know those are things that are good for any other diseases,
right.
but apparently it is one of the things that we must do now if we want to avoid dementia.
I have Lumosity on my iPad. Does that help? I don't know. Is that going to help me? I hoped that it would. Carlin, tell me a little bit about what you've learned in your involvement with the association.
Yeah, well, I've only recently joined the association, and I joined primarily because of a presentation that we had asked the association to do for the family, for my immediate family. My mother also suffers from Alzheimer's, and I have a very dear aunt who is suffering, from this disease as well. And once the presentation was done, there was so much information that I gained from it, and I volunteered to be a part, of the organization. I feel that the more people that can learn about this dreaded disease, the better we're able to help our loved ones and those that we are in association with. I think something that also need to be borne in mind is that it's not only the elderly now that are being stricken with this disease. We have perhaps at least 2 cases in Cayman where individuals are in their 50s.
Wow.
So, it's fairly frightening. But yes, I'm willing to learn as much as I can. In fact, that's my desire, because anything that I can do to help, the organization move forward, that's, what I want to do.
We have a look at these presentations that are coming up, presentations that you yourself learned from, and these are things that can help caregivers. There are so many things you don't know. I sort of think of, if somebody is forgetting certain things, am I to correct them? Do I? It's like, when do you step in and try to help, and when do you just go ahead and go with it and move? And these are all, if you're new to this disease, you just don't know what the right thing is to do.
Right, and probably one of the right things is not to correct them, because you have to live in their moment. Remember, they're not in the here and now.
Okay.
Yeah, they could be. If my mom is 80, for example, she could be living in the life of some 30, like she's 30 years old.
Okay.
And yeah, we don't know, but we just live in their moment.
Yeah, and I think for each individual, the case, may be somewhat different. For example, in the case of my mom, she has a very good long-term memory still, but her short-term memory, is almost nil now. My aunt is somewhat different from that, and with my mom, if you attempt to correct her, she tend to, you know, get more aggressive with you. Whereas with my aunt, you know, she just takes it very humorously. And, you know, like I said, the characteristics are totally different. And I think that vary from case to case. So as Dorothy said, we just have to bear in mind that, you know, they're living in their own mood. And, you know, we just can't, you know, live for them, so to speak. Yeah. It's what I find, because as a you know, direct family member, it's always better to go along, you know, with them rather than try to hold an argument. And very importantly is to continue to you know, show love, be extremely patient, you know, in dealing with them. They certainly associate with kindness, and you know, you just can't put up an argument with them or you won't get anywhere.
All right. That is really good advice. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We saw when the presentations were. We're going to keep reminding people throughout the month about the various activities, including a support group meeting on the 24th. And this is really helping caregivers manage any stress. There's a 5K memory walk run on the 27th. Again, we'll put this on our Facebook page, on our website, and we're going to continue to remind you. Thank you again for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.